DIVERSION! Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Ty Segall record, Emotional Mugger. Ty is a band leader, a multi-instrumentalist, a singer-songwriter, a very prolific musical artist. This is his latest record over here. He is an underground psych and garage rock heavyweight. And he has a huge, growing discography, which if you're new to the guy, I do not envy you because there are just so many albums to listen to. And there are some albums in his discography that I love, but in my opinion, Ty tends to be kind of a quantity over quality type of artist. Maybe you disagree and that's fine, but I feel like he has way more albums I'm indifferent to than there are albums in his discography that I love. However, he does kind of have an experimental streak that I never know when it's going to come out and result in an album that I'm totally floored by. And I think this record over here is an example of that. The punk and garage and psychedelic rock influences continue onto this new project over here, but it doesn't feel like Ty is simply phoning it in or just kind of riding through this already established blueprint that he's had going for a good chunk of albums right now. He's really warping the formula on this one. At moments, I would say this album is ingeniously weird. It's like the music I would normally expect from Ty, but it's just like melting because of the heat. I'm just like sweating balls while listening to this record. I kind of feel like in a way I was drugged before I put this album on, in the way the guitars squawked and they're so noisy, they're so textured, they're so fuzzed out. The vocal performances are way zanier than they've been on some of Ty's recent material, especially his last album, which I think was one of the most accessible in his entire discography so far. And it seems like through making I guess some cleaner garage rock music on that release, he's just slingshot back into the opposite direction and done something that's so lo-fi, so grimy, so dirty, noisy, and dissonant. And there are moments on this thing where Ty throws in keyboards and glitchy, cacophonous electronics as well, which only adds to the already chaotic character of the album, so it's all gravy. In a way, it kind of reminds me of the psychedelic, fuzzy, sonic antics of Black Moth Super Rainbow, except Ty does not rely on anywhere near as many songwriting gimmicks to carry himself from one song to the next. Each track on here, as weird as they are, kind of has their own distinct, odd, mutant flavor. Like with the song Squealer, which has these off-kilter drums and guitars, but they're syncopated, so they're very tight, and they actually have a groove that's sort of visceral despite it being kind of hard to grab a hold of. And the song, as it progresses along, is packed with these noisy psychedelic guitar embellishments. And I'm very into it, especially as the choruses bring these heavy washes of guitar fuzz. I mean, super heavy, super thick. Like 10 deep dish pizzas and a woman that is on Instagram taking lingerie photos that everyone in the comments is comparing to a bowl of oatmeal. Like that amount of thickness. I mean, tracks like Candy Sam and Diversion are easily two of the heaviest things, if not the heaviest things, I've heard in the past year, metal albums included. Ty just saturates the mix of these tracks with these guitar and probably bass riffs too that just fuse together with compression to create this monolithic wall of lo-fi sound. But the groove and the drums and the song don't really get lost in this wall of sound. Like, it's a very muscular wall of sound. It's not like fat and blobby and just kind of shapeless. These songs, especially Diversion, is just a hulk of a track, really strong, lean, and over these riffs, Ty provides some of his weirdest vocal performances yet. Diversion, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Which I like a lot. I mean, not only are they ear-grabbingly strange, but these vocal refrains, a lot of the time on these tracks, are pretty catchy. On the song California Hills, I feel like I'm sitting through some kind of slow-mo garage rock nightmare with these occasional guitar freakouts that I think are really great. I love the way the song speeds up at the end until it just devolves into this noisy, chaotic soup. The guitars get super dissonant and dark on Leopard Priestess with these gurgling, very deep, dramatic vocals. That kind of remind me of like some old school Marilyn Manson or something. In a way that I enjoy. And with the track Squealer 2, Ty actually brings through a track that's super funky and has a lot of swagger. So, you know, it's not just all hell in a handbasket bashing you in the head with a 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire. On Breakfast Eggs and Baby Big Man, I think some of Ty's vocals get kind of eerie and unsettling. In a lot of ways, this record is a lo-fi house of horrors, and it does with lo-fi rock things that I like to hear in lo-fi rock music. And for me, what's the point of recording a lo-fi rock record if you're going to track it and record it and layer it in the same way that you would a studio rock record? You know, the point of making a lo-fi rock record is to experiment with the sound, do something weird, do something on the fringes, and Ty most certainly supplies that. And even though he's doing something really noisy and abrasive and challenging on these tracks, he still employs the songwriting basics that he has on many of his previous albums. It's controlled chaos. It's not just a total mess. In a nutshell, I feel like I'm listening to the Beatles, Marilyn Manson, and Lightning Bolt in some kind of dream collaboration that somehow turns out good for whatever reason. I know that's probably not the most apt of comparisons, or maybe even something that to you sounds even remotely good, but this record really kind of overrided my senses to the point where I don't even really care. I will say though, this record is my most favorite thing Ty has done in a long time, a very long time, and while I don't expect to enjoy his next album as much, because I never quite know what to expect from Ty, as long as he drops something like this, or something that I enjoy as much as this every once in a while, I will continue to try out anything that he does. I'm feeling a decent strong 8 on this thing. Transition! Have you given this record a listen? I hope you have. It's real good. It's real good. It's real nice. It's real nice. If you like your psych rock, your garage rock, your punk rock, all that stuff, you're gonna like this record. It's got a lot of balls. It's got a lot of balls to it. What did you think of this thing? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. You're the best. Anthony Fantano, Ty Segall forever.